Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Thank you for your beautiful chanting. Shōshinge. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Long time no see you in person. I miss you. How are you all doing? I am Keisuke L of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. Today, thank you for joining our Shōshinge service, August 23rd, 2020. Today, I will start with English Dharma talk, then continuously talk about Dharma talk. Talk about Dharma talk? No, Dharma talk in Japanese. So if you are thinking that English is enough for you, please skip after this Dharma talk. So I will continue Japanese talk, Japanese Dharma talk. So, and then if you prefer to listen to the Dharma talk in Japanese, please skip this English Dharma talk part. So then you can satisfy and fulfilled, probably. And if you like to listen to both, wow, that is amazing. Yes. So please continue continuously. Just keep turning on the player. Okay. Today, I'm so honored to share my Dharma talk with you as a substitution of Leo Barambal Sensei. As you may or may not know, the next Sunday service on August 31st, it will be Kobata Sensei's last Dharma talk as a resident minister. In September's Light of Dharma, the temple newsletter will feature Kobata Sensei's 11 years experience as a resident minister at the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. Wow, such a long shot, Kobata Sensei. Surprising. It's a surprise, yeah. But it's a great thing, Sensei. Please, and today, I will encouraging you one thing. Please think about when and how you met Buddhism through his presence, Kobata Sensei's presence. Moreover, please expand your imagination and memories about how you met your Dharma friends, or Dharma itself. What was the meaning of an encounter with Kobata Sensei for you? How did you meet with Kobata Sensei? When? What kind of location? How did it connect with your Buddhism life? That is today's theme. Let's think about together. So when I reflect my experience, means my connection with Kobata Sensei, it started from my failure as a career as a Buddhist priest at Jodo Shinshu in Japan. At that time, I was super tired of their power sexual harassment at Honganji in Japan for 4 years. And after quitting the position, I visited San Francisco as a self-care and a vacation and an international student. 2 years later, I was suddenly found to be infected with HIV after a sexual assault incident in Japan almost 1 year before. I realized I couldn't go back to Japan nor stay in the United States. No, that's not my choice. I couldn't work legally in the United States because of my visa status. I couldn't communicate well in English. I couldn't speak. I couldn't understand Kobata Sensei's Dharma talk in the beginning, what he was talking about. And I couldn't do anything that at least I believed at that point. Perhaps The first visitation was probably for an afternoon Japanese service, probably. I was at the edge of my life, literally. But Kobata sensei said he greeted with his surprise. Wow, such a wonderful and rare thing. There's a young Japanese man who has a vibrant chanting voice. I was also surprised, or maybe amazed, that I am okay to be gay and HIV positive man, which was just a stigmatized status in Japan. But here, no, that's not stigmatized anymore. Kobata sensei appreciated my unique differences and liberal thoughts that were unassimilated with the Honganji organization in Japan. That was inspiring my view. As I started a new career as a hospital chaplain, I had his numerous support, literally numerous, a lot, in a wide range, almost for 8 years since then, including communication with Buddhist Church of America and recommendation letters to my job application to many hospitals. I cannot thank you enough, Kobata sensei. If Kobata sensei were not there on that day, 8 years ago, I wouldn't be right now here. So, that's my memories with Kobata sensei. Have you ever heard Buddhism terms establishing Shinjin through the Buddha and establishing belief in relation to practice? The first one, establishing Shinjin through the Buddha, means entrust the Buddha. That is, the Dharma is transmitted through the Buddha's virtues. And establishing belief in relations to practice means entrust the practice. That is, the Dharma is transmitted through the rituals and methodologies. There appeared around many sutras similar expression. Basically in Japan it's a Junin Risshin and Jugyo Risshin. What the heck? And there's people thinking about Junin Risshin, Jugyo Risshin. So that is many sutras that covered about the topic. Because it's very important. When you say establishing Shinjin through the Buddha, you may think of famous Buddhist monks or teachers, world famous one, who led them to teach the Dharma. But the original meanings is limited to the historical Buddha and numerous other Buddhas. I prospect each Dharma listener, including you, in front of the screen. Meeting through Sangha communities is Amitabha's returning direction from the Pure Land. And it is not exaggeration to call the Dharma friends as a Buddha or embodiments of Buddha's wisdom and compassion here, now. It is no superior or right or wrong between establishing Shinjin through the Buddha and establishing belief in relation to practice. They only describe it to let us comprehend the different perspective about how to meet the Dharma. This is a very important teaching, so please think carefully. When did you meet the Dharma? How did you start to hear Buddhism as your matter? When I work as a hospital chaplain right now, I sometimes meet a Buddhist patient who does not identify themselves as a Buddhist. Yes, so many. A big Buddha statue, like this size, is placed in their room, window side, and they and their family wrap the juzu, kind of juzu is a civil style of juzu, on their wrists and pile the book written by Dalai Lama or Thich Nhat Hanh at the bedside, and narrated a meditation every day called as stress management. Despite the fact they have never identified as Buddhists themselves, but as kind of Buddhist, or the person influenced by Buddhism's philosophy, not the religion. Yeah. If you were a Buddhist chaplain, I will allow your folks to visit my room, a patient said to us, to the chaplain department. Was it an excuse to drive the Judeo-Christian-based chaplains away from the room? Might be, yes, it might be. When I go to the room as a Buddhist chaplain, after hearing the referral, the patient clearly stated his needs of Buddhist chaplain. So, and I enter the room and say hello to the patient, and the patient replied, I'm not feeling well now. And yeah, obviously he's watching TV and laughing brightly. So, come back tomorrow, he said. Okay, totally fine. I'm not pushing harder. So, I hear certain message from this incident, or based on my experience. I don't want to belong to a certain categories or religious organization to fix me or saddle me as a Buddhist. And I do not want to share my Dharma with anybody, might be, but I would live as an individual influenced by Buddhism, and I continue to enjoy the teaching alone. That's a little bit exaggerated, sorry if you're feeling unwell about my statement, but there may be many Americans who are such nightstand Buddhists. That's true. On the other hand, the people who are hospitalized as a Buddhist on the medical record are many Asian migrants, or their next generations, or identify as themselves as a Buddhist. Buddhism as a symbol is fading down now in that case. Or conversely, the philosophy and the perspective of life and death often arise clearly, and a ritual and chanting during patient were in pain or after patient's death. It's as if two different Buddhisms exist in America at the same time. Isn't it interesting? Buddhists who have adopted Buddhist culture and ideas as an alternative spirituality often recognize themselves as a Buddhist, but do not express so very often much. This is because, I guess, instead of taking Buddhism as a compass for their own life, they are collecting what charismatic Buddhist leaders say as beneficial information or external resources for their stress management or life hack. Objectifying Buddhism, using Buddhism as a life hack, utilizing tool for responding to worrisome. Ultimately, our days and our lives are changing through the actions. This is also an important aspect of Buddhism. I don't disagree with that. It's totally fine. However, there's a lack of subjective view over the Buddha's teaching and path. As a compass of your life, you can live in the teaching to cope with your bonno, worrisome arising internally. Not always what your bonno or worrisome is not coming externally. On the other hand, if you become too subjective and justify your own belief and personal experiences and refuse to accept others' opinions which do not agree with you, egoistic self-centeredness appears. Perhaps we can call it an in-group bias in psychology's words, social psychology words. Neither is wrong, objectifying and subjectifying. Yeah, totally fine. Neither is wrong. Both are necessary to possess. The balance is important. The Buddha's teachings have been shared with his consideration for all our weakness or fragility of pre-diamond-like minds. In the encounter between Kobata sensei and me, I could say both my establishing Shinjin through the Buddha and establishing belief in relation to practice had been almost all blow off. But he let me be aware of the new aspect of Buddhism and my awareness of Buddhist sutra chanting in a different lens, followed by the first transformation which he provided. Because when I met him in 2012, I was estranged from Buddhists, especially Buddhist priests. And I nearly gave up to be a Buddhist because I had no hope of being one of them. That's sad. That was sad. I was hanging on a fine line of connection with Buddhism, thankfully, with Nembutsu and Sutra. I still feel it was precious affirmation to be said by Kobata sensei. Keisuke, it's okay to be as you are. At first I thought, he's just saying flatly. But as he repeatedly emphasizing my unique experience as a Buddhist, I gradually wonder, is it so? Wondering that stage of changing, my mindset. I am gradually feeling some appreciation for his acknowledgement. In 2016, he officiated my same-sex Buddhist wedding, and a Sangha community getting known about me more as a gay, HIV positive, Japanese, and not a minister from Honganji, but trying to become a chaplain. And when I joined the LGBTQ plus service, I still remember I couldn't stop my tears while I was chanting together with my Sangha. Once grasped, one is never to abandon, which means pursuing and grasping the one who seeks to run away, taking in and receiving and embracing. That's Buddha's power and compassion. I sense the tear was the spilled nimbus for my gratitude after encountering Kobata sensei and being led to keep me hearing the Dharma messages. Reverend Shinnan Shonin was aware of the risk as well as the benefits of establishing Shinjin through the Buddha and establishing belief in relation to practice, to way, to method, or to perspective, how we meet the Dharma. He criticized some traditional Buddhists who oppressed Pure Land Buddhist followers as heresies, exiled, or executed them. He was clearly against Buddhists who devoted themselves to political and money gains without caring about the ordinary suffering people, women, and people who were killing lives for their lives, such as butchers, fishers, and hunters. The style of establishing belief through the religion or a religious leader can be a very dangerous process if, I'm talking about if, condition is if the organization is a cult or the leader prioritized only fame and power. Some of you may remember the case of Aum Shinrikyo, in Japanese Aum Shinrikyo in the 1990s. I think I was a high school student. It would be a great example, not great, but the suitable example here. Probably those believers who actively committed into their justice were just following their belief as to the right path. When the incident at the subway or kidnapping happened, an abduction and killed, they would never have thought that their actions were wrong. Many people were killed and still suffered from the trauma. Faith, in a sense, is dangerous because it means letting go of relying on your own judgment and knowledge. There is an episode in Tanisha that reminds us of the risk of relying on and devoting to only a charismatic religious leader. Quote, the master once asked, Yuembo, do you accept all that I say? Yes, I do, I answered. Then will you not deviate from whatever I tell you? He repeated. I humbly affirmed this. Thereupon she said, now, I want you to kill 1,000 people. If you do, you will definitely attain birth. I responded, though you instruct me thus, I am afraid it is not in my power to kill even one person. Then why did you say that you would follow whatever I told you? He continued, by this you should realize that if we could always act as we wished, then when I told you to kill 1,000 people in order to attain birth, you should have immediately done so. But since you lack the karmic cause inducing you to kill even a single person, you do not kill. It is not that you do not kill because your heart is good. It's the same way a person may not wish to harm anyone and yet end up killing 100 or 1,000 people. Please reflect that phase carefully and thoughtfully. When the object of our devotion shifts from Buddha to the religious authority, perhaps people will not immediately feel in jeopardy. It's great to have our leader who speaks for us. I guess that makes us, especially me, happy, joyful, and fulfilled. That's why it's dangerous. On the other hand, there is another bad consequence from establishing the belief based on manners and rituals, which is pretending a Buddhist only on the surface, very shallow Buddhist. Holy fake Buddhist. You could say holy fake Buddhist. Even though the person may be a Buddhist, the person doesn't care about the Amitabha's vows, becoming a Buddha or heading to the Pure Land. Nothing care. But the person focus only on the benefits from the title and the status, who want to hand off so easily. Who wants to hand off so easily if they have a title and power that gives them certain privilege and respect? This is stated in the quote, "The Awakening of Faith" in the Mahayana of Kyogyo Shinsho. Provisional means of the Pure Land Way. They may enable you to know your past lives or your future. They may enable you to attain the wisdom of knowing the minds of others, or the capacity for unimpeded eloquence. Thus, they may foster in you a grasping for worldly fame and profit. They may cause you frequently to give rise to anger or joy, so that you grow accustomed to having an unstable nature. At times, you become extremely kind, or extremely sleepy, or extremely sick. Your mind is given to negligence. Now, manuals and tutorials might be very important as we continue our practices. If you don't understand the meaning of ritual or sutras, you could start from mimicking the form, but it can be not a great idea not to try to understand the meaning forever. As Nirvana Sutra stated, there are two kinds of shinjin. One arises from hearing and the other from thought. This person's shinjin has arisen from hearing but not from thought. Therefore, it is called imperfect realization of shinjin. Again, there are two kinds of shinjin. One is to believe that there is enlightenment, and the other to believe that there are people who have attained it. This person's shinjin is belief only that enlightenment exists, and not that there are people who have attained it. Therefore, it is called imperfect realization of shinjin. There is a meaning of numerous ritual and manners: how to meditate, how to offer incense, how to bow in front of the Buddha's statue, as well as the letters of sutra. Instead of knowing and tasting the meaning of self-indulgence, please share it with your family, friends, and Sangha. Since I met Reverend Kobata, I was changed my perspective. I was encouraged to do so. Sutra is not anymore something that somebody unknown way back beyond one couple thousand years ago wrote in the olden days to somebody else, not me. But I think that is written for me now. I was gay, drag queen. I'm gay still, sorry. I'm gay, drag queen, HIV positive, messing around sometimes, and I'm a bit of Zubora. You can search dictionary, Zubora, Zubora, and getting nervous easily over human relationship. So nervous, so fragile, so small. But still I am. Valuable words were delivered to me all the time before my birth and possibly after my death. Reverend Kobata made me to be realize this. Thank you very much. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo. Namanda. 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 Correction. Sorry about that. I said the beginning of the English Dharma talk is next week, August 31st is the Reverend Kobata's the Dharma talk, the last Dharma talk as a resident minister. No, August 30th. Not 31, 30. So that one small correction. My apologies.